Wendy is at a facility doing her best to be her best. She's taking it day by day. People forget that she deals with grave disease.
They are lying, and he's claiming they're lying. They're signing her up for projects that she's not ready for, including a possible unscripted show.
Brace yourselves, because things just got a whole lot messier in the world of Wendy Williams. The former queen of daytime TV, known for her sharp tongue and fearless opinions, is now at the center of a dramatic battle for her freedom, and it's not just playing out behind closed doors. It's unfolding like a soap opera for the entire world to see. How did Wendy, a woman who built her empire by calling out celebrities, end up in such a tangled situation herself? Let's dive into the latest chapter of this ongoing saga that has everyone talking.
For Wendy Williams, we saw earlier this week fans rallying outside of the assisted living facility where she is staying. That was clearly a big boost to her. We could see that in the video.
Picture this. Wendy Williams, once a towering figure on the talk show circuit, now confined to a high-rise assisted living facility in New York City. But don't let the swanky address fool you. Wendy herself has called it a luxury prison, and her words paint a heartbreaking picture of her current reality. She's living on the 5th floor of what's ominously referred to as the memory unit, surrounded by people decades older than her. Wendy, now 60, has described the experience as suffocating and very lonely, and she's been vocal about her feelings of being trapped. "I'm not cognitively impaired," she's said repeatedly, waving off the claims that have been used to justify the court-ordered guardianship controlling her finances and major life decisions. But despite her protest, she remains under the tight grip of this legal arrangement, and according to Wendy, it's been too damn long.
Now, she has retained the services of one Joe Tacopina. Joe Tacopina, of course, the attorney who just got A$AP Rocky acquitted here in Los Angeles in that assault case.
Well, he's one of the biggest and most high-profile defense attorneys in the world.
Wendy's guardianship was put in place back in 2022, a move that reportedly stemmed from concerns raised by her former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, and her bank, Wells Fargo. The bank froze her accounts, claiming there was evidence of undue influence and financial exploitation. This spiraled into a court battle that resulted in the appointment of a legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, who has the final say over Wendy's finances, healthcare, and even who can visit her. Wendy herself has been clear about her frustrations, famously saying, "I feel like I'm in prison," and questioning why she's being treated this way when she's more than capable of managing her own life.
And obviously, Wendy is hoping that he can help her get out from under this guardianship. And it's going to be clearly a battle. The Guardian has been fighting Wendy on this. Wendy doesn't want to be in that facility, but they are going back and forth. And now Joe is stepping into that.
But Wendy isn't just sitting back and accepting her fate. Oh no, she's gearing up for the fight of her life, and in a move that has everyone buzzing, she's brought in heavyweight attorney Joe Tacopina to join her legal team. If that name sounds familiar, it's because Tacopina has represented some of the biggest names in the world. Think Donald Trump and A$AP Rocky. His involvement signals one thing loud and clear: Wendy is done playing nice. Tacopina has already hinted at a strategy that could shake things up, including challenging the medical assessments that have been used to justify her guardianship.
So the goal end game is to make sure she gets out of there. How it's done is honestly, it doesn't matter to me now.
And let's not forget the public support that's been pouring in for Wendy in the form of the Free Wendy movement. Fans have taken to the streets in both New York and Los Angeles, holding rallies outside her assisted living facility, and even creating online petitions demanding her release from the guardianship. At one recent rally, Wendy herself was spotted looking out from her window, waving to the crowd and even speaking to PEOPLE over the phone. "It feels very good," she said, visibly moved by the outpouring of love and support. "They have posters and t-shirts. I love nothing better than to stop and pose." But behind the smiles and waves was a woman clearly grappling with the weight of her situation. "At this point in my life, I can't trust a lot of people," Wendy admitted, adding that she's questioning why she's still living under these restrictions. Her fans, meanwhile, are determined to keep the pressure on, with one rally flyer urging supporters to advocate for our queen in the media landscape. Wendy's legal battle isn't just about her freedom, it's about reclaiming her identity. She's been candid about how the guardianship has stripped her of basic rights, from deciding where she lives to controlling her own money. "I can't even get into who I can't trust," she said recently, hinting at deeper betrayals that have yet to fully come to light. And while her guardian claims that Wendy has refused to participate in recent medical testing, Wendy has fired back, laughing off those claims as nonsense and insisting that she's open to evaluations on her terms. "I passed with flying colors," she declared after a recent hospital visit, during which she underwent a mental competency test. Her healthcare advocate, Gina-Lisa Monteroso, backed her up, saying Wendy was alert and oriented during the evaluation.
I spoke to Wendy at length yesterday. She wants me to represent her. I am representing her. Her family's asked me to represent her. I'm her personal attorney now. Doesn't mean I'm in the guardianship case yet, and I'm not, because the judge has to approve any lawyer coming in to the guardianship. So the bottom line is there's a process.
But what makes this case even more complicated is the sheer number of players involved. From her guardian to her family members and even her former financial advisor, it seems like everyone has a stake in Wendy's life. And that's where things get murky. Wendy's son, Kevin Hunter Jr., and her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, have both been scrutinized for their roles in her financial affairs. Kevin Jr., who once held power of attorney over his mother, has denied allegations of mishandling her money, insisting that every decision he made was with her consent. But Wells Fargo saw things differently, citing telltale signs of exploitation when they froze her accounts. Meanwhile, her ex-husband's infidelities and their messy divorce added another layer of stress to an already chaotic situation. And through it all, Wendy has maintained that she doesn't want her family involved in her guardianship, a sentiment echoed by Monteroso, who said Wendy wanted to avoid burdening her loved ones.
Quite frankly, question the motivations of people in this thing, but the bottom line is she needs to get out of there, and sooner rather than later. We have an ability, if the judges are going to let this happen, there is a mechanism where she's entitled to a jury trial. I hope it doesn't get that far. I hope a judge is going to evaluate her, look at the medical evaluations, listen to her, and say, okay, she's fine. She could go. I mean, this judge actually...
As if the legal drama and family tensions weren't enough, Wendy has also had to contend with the public narrative surrounding her health. Diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia in 2023, she's been open about the challenges she faces, but adamant that her condition doesn't define her. "I feel fantastic," she said, dismissing claims that she's permanently incapacitated. Still, her diagnosis has been a key factor in the court's decision to keep her under guardianship, and it's a hurdle that Wendy and her legal team will have to overcome if they want to win her freedom.
She does not have frontal lobal dementia. She just doesn't. That's something that deteriorates over time, does not improve over time. And from 2024, when she was diagnosed with that, she was under a severe battle of and she was. She's sober now, but look on that TMZ piece that you guys produced with Harvey doing her interview. It was amazing. She was cognitive. She was articulate. She was Wendy.
And let's not forget the emotional toll this has taken on Wendy. She's spoken about the loneliness she feels in the memory care unit, describing how she spends most of her time in bed, cut off from the world she once ruled. But despite the isolation, she's holding on to hope. "When I get out of this situation, I'm staying in New York, where I'm comfortable," she said recently, adding that she's even looking forward to falling in love again. It's a glimpse of the Wendy we all know, resilient, optimistic, and ready to take on the world.
My life, and I do want love in my life. I'm not desperate for anything, but what I am is a woman who feels very attractive.
But wait, things get even murkier. If you thought Wendy Williams' guardianship battle was dramatic enough, buckle up, because the theories swirling around her family's alleged involvement and the broader conspiracies tied to her finances are enough to make your head spin. Could her own inner circle have played a role in orchestrating her current predicament? Or is it all just a series of unfortunate events? Let's unpack the rumors, whispers, and eyebrow-raising coincidences that have people talking. Let's start with Wendy's son, Kevin Hunter Jr., and her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter. For years, Wendy's family dynamics have been under the public microscope, and not always for the best reasons. Kevin Jr., once entrusted with power of attorney over Wendy's affairs, has faced allegations of mismanaging her finances. Back in 2022, when Wells Fargo froze Wendy's accounts, the bank claimed there were telltale signs of financial exploitation. It didn't take long for fingers to point at Kevin Jr. He was accused of withdrawing a significant sum of money without proper authorization, sparking concerns that Wendy's own son might have been taking advantage of her during a vulnerable time. But Kevin Jr. has fiercely denied these claims, insisting that every decision he made was done with Wendy's full consent. In the Lifetime documentary Where is Wendy Williams, he went as far as saying, "I've never taken anything without her agreement." So who's telling the truth? That's the million-dollar question, or should we say several million-dollar question.
So we shows up, and I see that people was already crowded out there and it was crazy.
And then there's Kevin Sr., Wendy's ex-husband, whose actions have been a sore spot for years. Their divorce in 2019 was already headline-grabbing, with Wendy cutting ties after his long-term affair and the revelation that he fathered a child with another woman. But could there be more to the story? Some have speculated that his financial entanglements with Wendy didn't end with their marriage. Reports have suggested that during their relationship, Kevin Sr. held significant sway over Wendy's finances and business decisions, raising questions about how much control he may have retained even after their split. Wendy's public disdain for her ex is no secret, but she's never outright accused him of financial wrongdoing, at least not publicly. Still, the timing of everything, from the divorce to the financial freeze, has left fans wondering if there's a connection that's yet to be uncovered.
Accuses her handlers of taking advantage of her wealth, fame, and inability to make a proper decision. He believes her team is ignoring her mental and physical health.
But hold on, this tangled web doesn't stop there. Enter Wells Fargo, the institution that froze Wendy's accounts and effectively set the wheels in motion for her guardianship. The bank justified its decision by claiming it had strong reason to believe Wendy was being influenced and exploited, but it didn't exactly specify by whom. And here's where things start to get really curious. Wendy has openly criticized Wells Fargo's actions, calling their behavior unlawful and accusing them of freezing her out of her own finances without giving her a proper explanation. According to her, the bank relied heavily on the advice of her former financial advisor, Lori Schiller, who Wendy has since fired. Lori, for her part, claimed that she witnessed signs of exploitation and raised concerns to the bank, but Wendy has dismissed these claims as baseless. Was Lori genuinely looking out for Wendy's best interests? Or was she part of a larger scheme to take control of Wendy's asset? The lack of transparency has only fueled speculation, giving rise to theories that Wells Fargo may have acted with ulterior motives.
And you see the people that were around her, they were also very overwhelmed and confused by the situation that they were put into.
And let's not forget the role of Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, in all of this. As the court-appointed overseer of Wendy's finances and healthcare, Sabrina holds immense power over Wendy's life. She's the one who decides how Wendy's money is spent, who gets to visit her, and even whether she can leave her current living facility. But here's the thing. Sabrina is a complete stranger to Wendy. Unlike some guardianships, which involve family members stepping in to care for their loved ones, Wendy's case was handed over to a professional guardian. This decision has raised plenty of eyebrows, especially given the rumors that Wendy's own family was shut out of the process. Wendy's sister Wanda has questioned the system itself, saying, "How is this better than the family stepping in? I don't understand." Could it be that the court preferred a professional guardian over Wendy's family because of the financial controversies surrounding her son and ex-husband? Or was there something else going on behind the scenes?
You don't think there's anything going on with Wendy's health that is alarming?
No. Wendy is Wendy.
Adding another layer to this complex situation is the broader issue of guardianship and conservatorship abuse. Wendy's case has drawn comparisons to Britney Spears' highly publicized fight to end her conservatorship, sparking renewed conversations about how these legal arrangements can be used or misused. Critics of the system argue that it often prioritizes financial interests over the well-being of the individual, and Wendy's situation seems to fit that narrative all too well. Investigative journalist Diane DeMond, who has extensively covered guardianship abuse, has pointed out that professional guardians often wield unchecked power, leaving vulnerable individuals with little recourse. "A person under guardianship loses all their civil rights," she said. "They can't decide where to live, how to spend their money, or even who they can see." It's a chilling thought, and it's one that Wendy herself has echoed, describing her guardianship as suffocating and pleading for the chance to tell her side of the story.
One is the memory unit. The people who lived there don't remember anything. Unlike me, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying?
But here's where things take an even darker turn: the conspiracy theories. Some fans believe that Wendy's guardianship isn't just about her health or finances, it's about silencing her. Let's not forget that Wendy built her career on saying what others wouldn't, often spilling secrets that made people in powerful positions very uncomfortable. Could it be that her outspokenness has made her a target? Is it possible that forces beyond her family and bank are working to keep her quiet? These theories might sound far-fetched, but in the world of celebrity gossip, stranger things have happened. What's undeniable is the emotional toll this entire ordeal has taken on Wendy. Despite her larger-than-life persona, she's made it clear that she's struggling. Her niece Alex has described recent phone calls with Wendy as bittersweet, saying that while Wendy sounds more clear-headed than she has in years, the isolation is wearing on her. Wendy has expressed a longing to reconnect with her family, but the restrictions of her guardianship make that nearly impossible. And then there's the matter of her legacy. For someone who spent decades building an empire, the idea of being remembered as anything less than the strong, fearless Wendy Williams must be devastating.
Right? Correct. She had those tests. She's been deemed she is not incapacitated. A test with flying colors. I know. And I think it's great news, and it's public, and everybody knows, factually that Wendy's not incapacitated.
So where does this leave us? The battle lines have been drawn, but the war is far from over. Wendy's legal team is gearing up for what promises to be a high-stakes trial, with the potential for dramatic courtroom revelations. Meanwhile, her fans continue to rally, determined to keep her story in the spotlight. But as the dust settles, one question looms large. Who's really pulling the strings in Wendy's life? Is it her family, her guardian, or forces we can't even see? And more importantly, will Wendy ever get the chance to reclaim her freedom and tell her story on her own terms? One thing's for sure, this is a saga that's far from over, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, the end goal is to get her out of that draconian institution she's in, that she doesn't belong in, because she's not incapacitated in any way, shape, or form. She's in a ward where people don't know their names, where people don't know between a red light and a green light. I mean, she's in a place where, people are dangerous to themselves. She's not. She can't leave there on her own to go get a cup of coffee.
And what do you think? Is Wendy Williams truly being exploited by those closest to her, or is this all just a tragic series of misunderstandings? Could there be more sinister forces at play, working to silence one of daytime TV's most iconic voices? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let us know if you think Wendy will finally break free from her guardianship and reclaim her independence. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity news and updates. Until next time, stay tuned.